What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Messy Media Podcast, the place where we talk about a smorgasbord of media talk. We have a lot of varieties of things. We've had DJs, we've had photographers, videographers, live musicians, and today welcoming back as my first returning guest to the podcast is none other than David, otherwise known as my dad. What's going on, Pops? Welcome back to the podcast.
Otherwise known as is like getting bigger for me.
It's like otherwise known as this, and then otherwise, and he also this, and he also does this, which he also does this.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the last podcast I did with you on your podcast, also known as the Funky Cold Messina.
also known as the Funky Cold Messina. Yes, yeah, that's true. We also had that one on there.
Yeah.
But you last time you were here in a DJ capacity.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that's your DJ name, the Funky Cold Messina.
Yeah.
So we got you here this time in a different capacity.
I like expanding like that.
We're here for different reasons today. What are the reasons we're here today?
Just Davit is the reasons we're here today.
You're on a new adventure.
A
You're
new
on
adventure,
New
yes.
things.
I am so excited about starting this new adventure that it's almost all I can think about.
This also is just bringing up just now in this moment memories from my childhood.
Yeah.
Where we used to crack jokes that you were going to do because you had all these visions and you'd constantly every day, I could do this and I should do this and I could do this. And we'd go out somewhere and you're like, I could do that, right? The place where you were going to run a restaurant that was also a tattoo shop that sold custom wooden walking sticks. That's you had
Custom wooden walking sticks.
Yeah, you had so many things where you're like, I could do that. I could make that. I could run a business. I could do this.
What's so funny is that the custom wood walking sticks is not even made up.
No, that's real.
I was really going to do that.
You're really going to hand carve wooden walking sticks and sell them in your shop.
Yeah.
In this mythical shop that
Oh,
you have.
yeah, it was gonna be great.
It was going to be like the Buc-ee's of Ohio. Like, it's going to be you doing whatever you wanted. It's like all the stuff in it.
It was going to be epic.
It was going to have good food. It was going to have good music. It was going to have novelties. It was going to have everything.
Yeah. I was just sad that the people that I told that to couldn't get that vision, and they watered it down and destroyed my dreams.
It was all of our fault.
Yes,
It was
everybody
everyone
else.
Your lies.
It would have been amazing.
We were really wearing you down, destroying your dreams here. Gosh.
Yeah.
That's what I think is funny. Is you had all these, so that's always been you. Is try something and then try something else and then try something.
Gosh.
You love to
That
hobby
is
hop.
so true.
You hobby hop.
Oh, for sure.
Now career hop, not so much. You've been an electrician for 30 plus 30-something years.
34 years, something like that, yeah.
So career-wise, you've been very consistent with your career.
I have.
Yeah, you've always been an electrician.
Yes.
But you hobby hop like nobody's fucking business.
I know. Isn't that great, though? Isn't that the fun of life?
Yes.
I mean, trying new things. But even so, yes, I do hobby hop. But usually when I land in a hobby, what you call a hobby, I'm following my dreams. There's what I'm calling it.
Fair. All right. Sorry to squash your dreams.
But I land there for a while.
Yeah,
I don't like just wander in and wander out.
No,
like,
you're right.
When
I
I
think
did a
the wooden
recording,
walking stick is definitely a passion of a career you should have pursued.
well, that was a concept. I never whittled one stick.
No, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
But like I did the recording studio for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I stuck with that a long time. That was years of work.
And I remember growing up and being in the recording studio. Like, that was great. I loved that. That was part of what made me into the media specialist I am, was growing up in the recording studio with you.
Yeah, for sure. And you had a band, and we got to record your band in the studio.
Was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of miss those days a little bit.
Honestly, catch us in the next podcast where he completely abandons the Just David idea and we start a recording studio again.
That's probably going to happen.
Fair enough.
I don't think I'm going to abandon anything. I'm just going to add to it.
Just add to it. Yeah. Just building upon things.
Yeah, because I always say, I can do that too. Like I never think about getting rid of something.
Well,
I always
you
just say
have
I can do that.
imparted that into me too, because I do the same thing. When people ask what I do, I just say, media work, right? Because it's too hard to be like, I'm a DJ.
Yeah.
I'm a live audio engineer. I'm a photographer and a videographer and a graphic designer. And, I have a podcast. And, I 3D print stuff. And, I sell 3D printed merch and stuff. So, like,
I'm sorry I did that to you, but not really though, because
it's fun.
I
like
the layers of the onion just keep getting peeled, and the older you get, the more layers you're going to have. Like, my list of things is unbelievably long.
Which is why this new endeavor is kind of fun for you.
Yeah.
Because the Just Davit project is your podcast.
I think the listeners are probably at this point going, just say it. What are you doing?
You started a podcast. Again, you started another podcast.
I did.
Yeah. Now, you've ran podcasts before. This, by the way, this is like my 6th podcast I've started.
Yeah.
I've started a lot of podcasts over the years. Shout out Mike. He's been on the first 5, so he was on this one too. Mike's been on every podcast with me over the years. But yeah, so you started a podcast.
I did. Years ago, I started one.
Yeah.
And it was audio only, and I had a lot of fun. I think we just did like 12 shows on that one.
It was a good time.
Yeah, good time, and but it ran its course, and now I'm starting a video podcast.
Yeah.
And it has been an amazing experience.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what so far, you've been having a lot of fun with it. I'd say you've been having so much fun prepping for the podcast. I had to really I had to start barking at you like, when the fuck are you going to post this podcast? This has been like a 6-month-long process.
Okay, so that journey.
You just got to posting it.
2 weeks ago.
So this is where we go. The podcast is live now. We can't, this is why you're here today.
Right.
Is to talk about your recently launched long time building podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting to this point, though, I mean, it's not that you can't relate.
Right.
I literally just watched you reframe this
like 9 times.
9 times before we started this one.
And changed our audio because we wanted better headphone quality. So I went ahead and switched our audio to a mixer.
Right.
And
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And the thing about that journey, like, okay, concept first. You know, the idea to start a podcast wasn't even really my idea.
Yeah.
I have a business partner in this venture, and he came up with the idea. His name's Dusty. He came up with the idea.
Shout out Dusty.
Dusty.
Shout out Mr. Fresh.
Mr. Fresh. Yes. And so he comes to me and he says, you know, you should start a podcast. And I'm like, okay,
but he was on your last podcast.
He was on my last podcast. Yes.
True.
He was a co-host on the last one.
Yeah.
So he looks at me and says, you should start a podcast. And I'm like, you have my attention.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Like, this is
his brainchild you're working with here?
Yes, it's totally his brainchild.
Yeah.
And he says, you just tell stories about the incredible journey of your life, and why not share that with the world? And I'm like, do I?
See, but the thing is you're a storyteller, like that. But like, you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
Like I got that from you. I also got that from Mom. But like, I got that from organically from my parents for sure.
Yeah.
We're all entertainers.
Yeah,
at
for
heart.
sure. Yeah.
So you have a lot of things about your life that are interesting, all on their own. But so do a lot of people have really interesting things about their life. And
usually they just have 1 or 2.
That's fair too. But I think what makes this the biggest sell point is that you know how to tell every story in the best way possible. You are such an entertaining storyteller that even on your podcast, if you weren't talking about living on an aircraft carrier, or being an electrician or a drummer, or a touring band manager or a DJ or any of the other things, or your fun experiences from childhood, throwing up in the park.
Right.
Check out my episode; it's out now on the Just David podcast. I almost made him throw it. It's great. Even if you weren't talking about fun, interesting stories, if you were talking about making toast. You could still tell that in such an entertaining
That's
light.
true. And I feel like all my kids have gotten that too.
Yeah.
You guys all
tell
you guys tell stories in incredible
We're
ways.
storytellers for sure.
Yeah, and I kind of knew that. I do enjoy telling stories, but I didn't really know that Dusty was at that place of thinking about the podcast idea and wanting to build a brand about me telling stories.
Yeah.
Because of the way I like to tell the stories or whatever. And so the way I tell them and the amount of stories I have to tell could literally be like a lifetime's worth. I could just be podcasting all the time, just telling different stories.
Yeah.
I can't even remember all the stories.
Well, yeah, so even yesterday, I pulled one up you had even forgotten about.
Yeah,
I pulled one up from
I'm
my
like,
childhood.
Oh my
or like,
gosh, that's
hey, you should tell that story on
I
the
almost
podcast.
killed my kids. What?
Check that out on the next episode of
Yeah,
Just David.
yeah, that one's coming up.
We haven't even recorded that one yet. It's probably not out when you're watching this.
Right. So yeah, I'm having the most amazing time ever. To get to this point to where I can say that has also been a journey. So after Dusty says, you should start a podcast, and he's like, I want to partner with you, but I don't want to be on the podcast. He wants no part of that.
He wants to do the production side of things.
He does. I mean, he wants to just be the person who's producing.
He's your manager.
Okay. Yeah, you can call him that for sure.
And honestly, this is my express opinion out here on the internet. A guy needs a raise. You should give Dusty a raise.
Oh my gosh.
I got you, Dusty.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs a raise.
Yeah, we're both going into debt for this project. I don't think anybody's getting paid yet.
yeah. Listen, you got to have a good podcast with some popularity before you start getting paid for it.
Yeah, very true.
I've been running this podcast for how long now? I made a dime off this. I have so much money in this podcast.
Yeah. So when we started this whole venture about building a brand with me telling stories about the way I tell the stories and then the things I have to tell about, you frame that and hang it on the wall and you're like, yeah, I love it. And there sets your goal.
Right.
But to get to that goal, okay, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'd love to do a podcast. I just don't know what I would talk about.
Right.
I had that part figured out. Like,
right.
Perfect. Now, how do I get there?
You knew what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I knew what I wanted to talk about. I just
had a lot of logistics to get through.
So many. And the first one was like, okay, now I need equipment.
Right.
I need cameras and lights. And I did already have podcast mics from my
the
last
podcast when it was just an audio, but then you needed the visual aspect of it.
I needed the visual aspect
You
of
needed
it.
cameras, you needed lights, you also needed like a set to record
A whole
on.
set. I needed a table.
The table and the stools.
Chairs
and a background.
And so getting to that point, so I order all of this stuff. I just kind of like wrung your brain out. I was like, what do I need?
I knew when somebody got in your head about something because I just woke up, like it was early morning. You called me one day and like my work schedule's weird right now. So like I'm not waking up as early as you are, but you go to work at, 5 in the morning or whatever.
Right.
And you called me pretty early in the morning. You're like, okay, so I'm going to start a podcast. So what do I need? Just give me a list of, can you just start sending me links of it? And you said I had like a billion. And I was like, hold on. Wait. What are you talking about?
Like, can I call you back? Like, I'm not even out of bed yet.
And then it was just like you got the obsession. You got ate up by it.
That's the way of the Messinas. I mean, that is what we do.
Yeah.
Especially me. I get an idea in my head, and it's go
You're
time.
there for it.
It's like push the throttle up. Let's go. And so I wrung your brain out. Was like, what do I need to order? And so you're like, get this. You send me a list, and I get all the stuff on the way. So then I'm just kind of like every day after work, like
checking when your Amazon package. You're like,
is it here yet?
Can I? Yeah. Is it? And you call me every time. You're like, hey, I'm at work. I'm like, You're like, I just want to let you know my cameras got delivered. They're at home. And I went, oh, okay. And you're like, when I leave work, I'm gonna go open the box. And I went, that's great. That's great, Pops.
Yeah. I was just like a little kid. Like I was having so much fun. And so the gear kind of trickles in and I'm unboxing and setting things. And
you got an actual podcast like audio interface recorder, a roadcaster and everything.
I did, yeah. I got all of that. I mean, you did the research for me on that and it was great. And so then I started just assembling things, but then I'm like, but I need this and I have to wait on that. And so eventually it all is there.
Yeah.
And I remember the day the final piece of gear came in, and I just had to unbox that. Everything else was already set up.
It's that last little thing.
Yeah. So
I bet everything felt like the last thing. When you got it in, you're like, it's the last piece I need. You put it in, you look up, and you're like, and I need something else. Amazon.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Jeff Bezos just got so much of your money recently.
Yeah, for sure. So I get the last piece of gear, and it's all plugged in, and I'm like, I can record. And in my mind's eye, I thought I had arrived.
Because all the equipment's here. It's all set up.
It's set up. So now I have the end already complete. I know what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And now I have the gear, and I'm like, the rest is just easy. You just start talking.
I did try to tell you. You're going to start this process. You're going to find something else you want to change. You're going to go and change another thing.
Yeah,
It's never ending.
Oh, yeah, but, am I going to listen?
No, of course not.
So that's exactly what happened. I got it all, and I set it up, and I'm like, all right, hit the record button, and I start talking, and I'm like, yeah, just go, just start,
Done.
just get some practice footage, and then figure it out. And I recorded like 20 straight minutes, and I like, all right, thanks for listening. So,
Easy.
Then I go see how that turned out. No audio. I'm like, oh no, what do I gotta do? Oh man, I can't figure this
Always
out.
something. Always something.
And that journey of the technical difficulties was just like, oh, I can't get the lighting right.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I didn't know about lighting.
Right.
I had no idea. I knew that lighting makes things better. So I got the soft boxes, like you said, to get.
Right.
But they have settings on there. Did you know that?
I did know that a little bit. I've heard of that before.
There's dials and numbers. They change
Not
when you turn them.
numbers.
Yeah, and I don't even know what those numbers mean. I just knew I had to call you and was like, hey, what do these numbers mean and what should they be on?
Wait, okay. First of all, 5,000. Secondly, the other number, whenever you don't look so pale that the camera hurts.
Yeah, I'm like, 5,000, that seems like a high number. I don't know why, but it just seems high to me. I'm like, are we sure it's 5,000?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to get those kind of things. I had to learn about all of that. And then, there's this whole dilemma about how do you capture and then how do you edit, and not like the how, meaning which software are you going to use?
Yeah. I mean, just where you wanted to go from there. Well, because we had a lot of conversation about it, too, where you were like, isn't there just like an all-in-one? It does everything.
Yeah,
it's always,
I remember
it's the best
saying
editing.
that.
And I was like, not really. Like, you got to kind of hodgepodge different, like, you got to stream in this one, and if you want a video call, it's got to be in a different thing, and if you want to edit, it's got to be in a different thing. And I mean, you found some pretty good options out there as far as editing goes.
Yes. I'm having the greatest time with that.
Yeah.
My goal, that's the only thing, I didn't know that a web-based software, recording software, editing software combination, I did not know that
Can't do live camera switching.
You can't do live camera switching. You can get one live camera feed, but then everybody else has to remote in if you want the switching to happen. And I'm like, no, I want that. I want to be able to do the switching and whatever. Right. And you're like, let me get my brain. And you came up with a solution.
Well, that's what you got to go through. It's what I do. OBS. If you want camera switching, you got to go through OBS and then you send that virtual camera out, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, and it totally worked.
Yeah.
And I was using that for a while, and had multiple cameras set up. But then I started realizing that I put backdrops in my studio, and the backdrops, the camera angles could see past the end of the backdrops. And you could just see like the stand, and I'm like, oh no,
right?
I can't keep any of these recordings. They look terrible, and I didn't know they looked terrible until now.
Afterwards. Well, and just the way your studio space was set up, your desk was like 3 inches off the backdrop. So you were right on it, and I remember this was one of the big complaints too. You were like, why does it ever look so flat? It doesn't look very cinematic. Like, it doesn't look very... I was like, well, you got to put some distance on the backdrop. I mean, like, that's like 6 feet away, like,
right.
You got to put some distance on the backdrop, that type of thing, like,
there
was a lot of different small details that needed ironing out.
You don't even know that you don't know. And then, so that's what I just did it. That's how I approach things, though.
Yeah.
If there's something I don't know how to do, I'm going to be like, well, I won't be able to say that when this is over, because I'm going to know how to do that.
Right.
And I just roll up my sleeves. Like, determination, that's my favorite word in the whole world. And that's my approach to everything.
Oh, you mean that word you got tattooed on you?
Yeah, right there.
Like, determination. I don't know what it is, but that word just keeps popping out to me.
Right.
You're like, anyway, oh, there it is again.
Yeah, there it is again.
Tattooed on your arm. Like,
I know.
that word keeps just showing up.
It's the way to get things done. It's been my approach to DJing. And, when I first started DJing, I was taking CDs out of, the cases. And, you would write on the soft sleeve.
Yeah.
You would write the song, and then you would write, the number of where that song was.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wanted to start on the hook, so you would write that down
The time
too.
code on it and everything.
Yeah, everything.
Tech has changed a lot.
I
over
know,
the years,
and so
for sure.
that I had to grow with that change. As everything started getting more advanced, and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, we don't use CDs anymore. We use a laptop."
Right.
And like, "Oh, sweet." So I got a laptop, and it can't handle.
Yeah.
It can't handle that amount. You have to buy a nice laptop. Did you know that?
Trust me, found that one out over the years too. Did learn that.
Oh my gosh! Knock on wood. I never ever had a situation, some near misses, a situation where I had an epic fail, and
Just laptop couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and wasn't able to do the wedding or something.
I did. I figured it out, but I did.
Yeah, well, something I couldn't recover from.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I had some really close calls when I had early age. You don't have a lot of money. I was raising a family. You know, you guys were little, and I bought a $700 laptop. It's about all we could afford at the time.
Which in the early 2000s was stupid expensive. But
Yeah. And so, but then you start realizing that laptop just cannot handle that much. It was a PC too.
Yeah.
It just can't handle that much information all at once. The processing power was not there. Yeah. So I eventually learned that I had to switch over to Mac. And that's been the same process with this podcast, is that you learn as you go and you do make mistakes. The difference in like the mistakes you're making as a live DJ and you fall on your face in front of 300 people.
On somebody's most important day of their life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your gear starts to go wrong or the microphone doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's a tremendous amount of pressure. The beauty of the podcasting is I can make a mistake in the studio and fix it the next day if I want to.
But what I think was just about the process was, and I felt it. I related to it. I've been there, but I was trying to give you as much like warning as possible. Is that every time you made your next adjustment, you were like, perfect, gonna record a 30-minute episode now. Started it, recorded it, got to the end and went, shit, something's wrong with it again.
Yes.
And I had about, over the last 6 months, probably about 5 different phone calls that were, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna jump. You gotta do
That's how I'd start the conversation.
I know.
I'm
like,
sitting on the edge of a bridge.
You'd be like, I'm doing it. I'm sitting on the edge of a bridge right now. I'm like, what happened? You're like, my podcast didn't work this time. I went, and what did we talk about? You're just going to have to keep making improvements.
Yeah. I mean, you talked me off of so many ledges for
So many.
sure. Yeah.
For sure.
It is a very, very tedious, frustrating process. But even looking back on it, I was still having the most amazing time.
Right.
Because I know one thing from experience of having to learn, having had, how do you say those words together? Having to, because I had to learn so many things.
I wasn't even going to try. I wanted you to fall over your face. I didn't want to do it.
Because I had to learn so many of those things in the past, I have already come through those hurdles.
Right.
And I know in this process of building this podcast that
A lot of work.
if you put the work in
Yeah.
and you keep trying, you can absolutely get it done. And I knew that before I started.
Right.
It was my approach to snowboarding.
Yeah. You fell a lot.
I did.
Yeah.
My approach to snowboarding was very simply, I want to snowboard. And so I know I want to snowboard, and I've never snowboarded before, but because I know I want to snowboard, I went and bought a snowboard. I bought all the gear, and I had all that stuff before I ever went down the hill. And so, I just made up my mind. I took 3 days, and I went to the mountain every day for probably 8-9 hours a day. And I fell down the hill.
Yeah.
I just fell and fell and fell and fell. And like even the people I was going with were just like, can we just go and come back and check on you later?
It's like,
Go.
leave me.
Right.
Go on without me. Have fun.
Yeah. But once I got it figured
Tell
out,
my family I love them.
laying on a bunny hill in the snow by myself. Scared to go down it again.
I don't want to do this anymore. No, yeah. You got it. Dude, that snowboarding whoops your ass. That's for sure.
I mean, it's a tough thing. But I knew that I was going to be a snowboarder, but I just had to get through that beginning.
Yeah.
And, man, that approach is really served me well in life.
Yeah, just keeping at it.
It's been so fun, and that's the approach I have on this. And I'm finally at that point now where, I'm starting to figure out new ways to do edits and everything, and you're just like, Dad, that's a fun edit, but did you have to use it on every transition?
Hey, you have to use that one transition on everything.
Right.
Hey, listen, I'll keep you honest. I'll keep it real with you. Because I know video editing is, I've been doing that for a long time. And I tell you, like, in my just photo and video journey, I used to do a lot of things that I was, like, so sure, like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And I watch it back. I remember when I first started photography, which was in high school, I was doing, like, dark vignetting and, like, just a little cock on every photo. I would, like, tilt the camera a little bit. And, and I thought, I was like, this is my style. This is my thing.
Yeah.
I'm so cool. I was like, well, again, this was a long time ago. But, like, I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. This is so cool. And then I do a little dark vignetting around the outside in the edit.
Yeah.
And it was, like, so bad. But I was so sure it was my thing, so I was going to keep at it.
Yeah.
And then over time, I was like, oh, yeah. And then, like, my buddy called me out and was like, why do you do that? And I was like, oh, it's because it's my thing. He goes, it should not be. You got to change it. And I was like, okay, fair. So I had to learn and keep trying.
I think everybody needs those kind of people in your life.
For sure.
The other hard part of this journey is that I carefully just selected certain people in my life to keep the feedback going. And so that I could do one, that I could say, hey, I need you to watch this for me.
Right.
I need people that would be willing to do that. Because let's just be honest, my early recordings were not very good to watch. So,
not as entertaining as they
oh
could have
my
been.
gosh, right. Learning to talk in interview style podcasting, this comes natural, I think, to both of us.
We're barely paying attention to the camera.
Yeah.
We're just sitting and having a conversation.
Yeah. This is very natural. This kind of just naturally works.
Yeah.
When you have to
Record by yourself. God, that's hard.
Oh my gosh.
I've been doing that for so long.
Looking straight at the camera.
Yeah.
Or not looking at the camera at all.
Right.
I had to get that kind of feedback from people.
Right.
And I needed to trust them. I'm like, I got to trust that you'll be just honest with me. And everybody has been. And man, it's hurt my feelings.
I was going to say, honesty
It's a
hurts
sad
sometimes.
life, man.
Especially when you put so much time into something.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, hey, I did a thing. You're like a crow finding a shiny object and bringing it back to a person and being like, what do you think of my thing?
Yeah.
And then they're like, this piece of shit? Is that what you're talking about? You brought me this literal piece of poop?
Exactly.
Is that what you're excited about?
Yes. That is exactly. And I'm grateful for those experiences.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the people in my life that have been able to share that honesty with me.
Yeah.
But man, that's a
It'll
tough
cut.
thing. That's
It'll
a
cut.
tough. Good gravy. You go through something like that, man, and you dig deep and you find out about yourself. You find out the hard way.
Real quick.
What are you made of?
Yeah.
And and one point, Dusty was giving me feedback. He never
Didn't hold back.
He didn't sugarcoat anything. He's just like, yeah. And so I think he must have gave me some feedback. And I work with him every day too.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what happened with my demeanor, but maybe it looks like I got quiet. Okay. And
You got your feelings hurt.
I did. Yeah. I probably did. I don't remember consciously being like, oh, I'm sad.
Say, we call that pouting. You were pouting.
Yeah, probably was.
Yeah.
So, but he comes to me.
Cut to a live clip of you in the.
Just like.
It's not fun. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
And so anyway, he comes to me later and he's like, hey, man, are you all right? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be okay? I was a little bit confused by it. He said, you're acting different.
Because
You can't do that.
He gave you podcast feedback.
He gave
and
me
you didn't like
podcast
it.
feedback.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't do that because we have an agreement. You told me to be honest with you. And I'm
You
like,
either want the honesty or you want your feelings
I
intact.
know, but I was like, I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I got to go cry in the corner for a little bit, let me have the space to do that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But no, it's been great because he has been, he's been totally honest with me, and it's definitely given me a lot of growth. The girls and Susan and you have all just been like perfect about giving me that honest feedback. And I think Haley's been an interesting person to give me feedback too, because she has this approach that even if it really is good,
You can watch Haley's episode of the podcast right here if you'd like to check it. The link's up there. Now I'm going to have to go put that link in later. Why did I do that? I'm going to have to go edit that link in there later. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So her feedback is like, even if it's really good, Haley's personality is that she can, when she looks at something, her first thoughts are always, how can we make that better?
Haley's a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's framing that.
That looks good, but
yeah. But she's really good at like posing and like framing and composition of a photo.
Yeah.
So immediately when she sees something visual, is like, okay, so let's try. Give you
And so everybody else was giving me that like large, big picture view, like this is crap.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as I make the improvements,
right.
Haley is like,
here's why it's crap.
There's a little dust over here in the corner. I'm like, we're down to dust. Can we just say it's good?
Well, here's what was so interesting through that process was you were getting feedback and you were like changing, and every time you get feedback, you'd make a change, you'd shift something around, whatever. Damn, I really blew an opportunity now that I'm thinking about it.
What?
I could have totally started this podcast with, what's shaking bacon? I could have
edited it in.
Damn it, I had an option, which is how he starts his podcast. But it was like you got some feedback. Well, don't do that. And then I gave you another feedback and went, well, stick with it. If you started it, then stick with it.
Yeah. I think
so you get feedback and change things over time, whatever. And
that's another good point. There are people that were giving me contrary opinions, and then that's when I started had to do some filtering myself.
Where do you
Dusty
like,
was like, are you really going to say what's shaking bacon?
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's great. So
if you like it and it fits and it's a good natural way to start the conversation to do it. I mean, I do the same intro on all my videos, and it's the same intro that I was given in all my YouTube videos. I go, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to, I've been doing that same intro on all my videos for a decade.
And I do enjoy it. So I did have to just kind of stick with that and say, look, it may not be Dusty's cup of tea, but the reality of the situation is that the people that are giving me feedback from, I would say in large part, would never watch my podcast.
We're not like if they didn't know you, like
if they didn't know me,
they're not the type to watch.
They're not the type to watch this kind of podcast.
Yeah,
which is perfect because if I can impress somebody who would never really watch it on their own anyway, then I'm probably going to impress the people who are naturally drawn to this type of podcast.
If I can impress all of my friends and family who don't like watching podcasts, but I force them to watch the clips I send them 5 times a week, then I'm great.
That's what I was telling somebody at work. Yeah. They're like, how's your podcast going? And I'm like, oh, it's funny you ask because that's all I talk about anymore. I'm losing friends. People are not answering my phone call anymore. Like, hey, I want to talk about my progress.
Like David's calling. What's he want to talk about? His podcast. Yeah. How do you know that? Because it's all he wants to talk about.
That's it. People stop asking me, what are you doing this weekend?
And you're like, working on my podcast. Well, okay, hold on. Let's also talk about, I told you yesterday, I was like, hey, Pops, tomorrow when we get done recording the podcast, it's 4th of July weekend. It's 4th of July today.
Yeah.
I was like, when we get done recording the podcast, we're going to kind of grill out. We're going to have some burgers and dogs and stuff if you want to stick around. And you were like, well, I got to work on my podcast. It's a holiday. It's your one day off work.
I know. I got all day to work on the podcast.
I was like, hey, Pops, do you want to hang out with your family and like be here and chill and like I'm just inviting you to like stay and have it like and you were like, yeah, it sounds great. And I love you guys, but I do have my podcast to work on.
All I can think about is like, I've got to get
these. Why you're not sticking around today? It's because you're gonna work on your podcast.
I got to get these edits done. I've got shows coming out every week.
I would say the sponsors are really starting to fall off because you're not hustling and grinding enough.
I know, but
it's the thing we're really all thinking about is you're not putting enough work in on this, really.
Well, okay, so you make a good point. Yeah. Okay, I get it. There's no sponsorship, and I'm not getting paid to do this. I get that. But the plan is that we will, put out a show every week.
Sure.
And there's a bank of shows.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly in the position of like unlimited amount of shows already recorded.
Right.
I've got to get that stockpile of shows built up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Whenever I learn a new edit,
you learn a new style of editing or whatever.
I got to put that in everything.
So you were editing in a different software, and then I, like a few weeks ago, recommended you try a different editing software. I was like, hey,
Yes.
you might like this one, and I already installed it on your laptop from another project we were doing. So like,
Right.
go switch to that one, and you the next day you were like, this is the best thing ever. I'm changing everything about my edits. And
Yes.
you literally re-recorded podcasts just to do them in this new editing
And
style.
I still have more of those to re-record just
Hilarious.
because of the editing style.
Just because you like the editing style better
my
from that new
gosh.
editing software.
It becomes an obsession.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I'm a drummer too.
Sure.
I've been, and the way I learned to play drums
Mm-hmm.
is just through complete obsession.
Yeah.
Coming home from school, throwing my books down, grabbing my drumsticks,
Grabbing some sticks and going for it.
and just sitting there and just doing everything wrong over and over and over. And so that eventually,
Yeah, and I mean that's how you taught me. Like that's how you taught me music. That's how I learned all the instruments that I play. That's how you taught me to juggle.
Yeah.
It's just throwing a ball in the air and getting hit in the head with it 1,000 times, or
Exactly.
flipping a pin until my arm gets tired and I can't hold it up anymore.
it's because that determination
And
that,
now I know how to juggle and play instruments
and I think that anybody can learn to do anything that they set their mind to.
if they're determined enough to do it.
If
yeah.
they are determined enough, if they get, if you don't become obsessed about something new in your life, you're not going to do it.
Well, that's what I've always thought about that too. Is like I am lucky and privileged to know that in my life, I've always known what I wanted to do with my life. I've always known where my passions lied.
Yeah.
I've never wondered what is my thing? What's my thing to belong to? Media. It's always been media. That's why I have a media podcast. That's why my full-time career is media, and that's why every hobby outside of it is also media.
Yeah.
I love media production. You know, I'm obsessed with it, and it shows because I
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
If it wasn't for your obsession, you wouldn't have been able to accomplish, all the things that you've accomplished
Yeah.
already. You wouldn't because you had to become obsessed to learn how to set those lights at 5,000 or what.
Yeah. No, like the lighting composition. I mean, there's the thing. I literally I got so into it, and I love what I do that I've become a bit of an expert in all of these different areas. And I know that there are people out there that I meet that when I talk to them, I love helping other people find their passions in life. You know?
Yeah, sure.
So when I've been talking to some friends of mine and stuff like that, they're like, I just don't really know what I want to do. I'm like, okay, amazing. Let me help you figure out what you can, because not everybody has that thing that they know, and that they become obsessed with, whatever, But you got to have that obsession. You got to know. You have to be passionate about it. Obsession would be one word. Passionate would be the other word about it.
For sure.
It looks like obsession to people who don't understand what passion looks like.
Yeah, I get that. I totally do. I like calling it an obsession because it feels like an obsession.
Yeah.
Like this podcasting, this is an obsession.
Consuming most of your life right now.
Yeah. That's why everything that even now we're doing a podcast and I'm loving every bit of this. But every once in a while I drift and think about, I got to get that. I got to get that.
And the reason you're on this podcast today is because you launched your other podcast.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to talk about on this episode.
I know.
Yeah. And that's, here we are.
Because this is one of the most amazing experiences ever. This is it's all brand new and it's all fresh to me. And it's starting to, I have made decisions about my entire life based upon this podcast. And so I've been a DJ for over 30 years. Doing weddings, raised you, doing coming to gigs with me, and I'm really feeling like that is starting to fade in my life.
Yeah, out doing weddings less, out doing gigs less. A mobile DJ less, less active.
Yeah, I have a few gigs left this year, and I think a few next year. But I think it's about time to hang the headphones up on the DJing. I'm getting close. I'm going to hang on to the idea of picking up a random gig here or there.
Sure.
But as far as loading up my schedule with, a whole bunch of weddings for the year, I think those days are behind me now because I would rather be podcasting.
Yeah, it's something you're enjoying.
My ability to walk has changed a little bit too.
What? Why? What happened?
Well, I don't know if you knew.
You're going to do it again. You did it in the last episode. Last time you were on, you did it. You did it so early in the last episode, and then you just waited so long. I was wondering when it was going to happen, but I wasn't going to prompt
a new leg.
it. Oh, it's true. You did get a new leg from last
this
time.
is
to
a
this
new one. Yeah.
This one's got artwork on the front of it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys didn't know, he's an amputee. If you can't tell by the fact that he just whipped his foot off and put it on my table.
So because of this, I don't like carrying gear as much anymore.
Sure.
And I've done it. Like when this happened, you know how my mind works. I'm
Dude,
laying in a hospital bed.
That was determination at its finest right there.
Yeah.
Because and at its foolishness, if we're being honest. But,
Well, sure.
But you were determined to get back out there and not let this impact your life and this, minimize the impact amount that it had on your life as far as your ability to go out and do things.
Yeah.
You did not want it to disability you.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I wrecked on a Monday, and I had a gig on that coming up Saturday. I'm in the hospital minus a foot.
Still thinking you were going to do gig. I'm going to blame that on the brain damage you sustained. You sustained serious head injury in this trip. You had brain bleed.
There was just a little bit of bleeding on my
Just
brain.
a little bit of bleeding on the brain. Just a handful of stitches down the left side of your skull.
No
it was
big deal.
fine.
No
anyway,
big deal.
no, because I literally you were mostly unconscious, coming to consciousness here and there, but definitely you had amnesia of this whole situation. But I told you, hey, don't worry about it. I got your gig covered this weekend. You went, why? I mean, it was because you had your foot was amputated 9 hours ago, and you were like, I'll do it. I was like, you're so
I can still do it.
I remember that Saturday morning, I had a gig, and I was on my way to my gig, and I was like, hey, I'm headed out for my gig. We were on the phone, and you were still, in the hospital. You were like, oh, yeah, cool. Can I come with you? I went, no, you can't come with me. You have not been discharged from the hospital yet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but what if I get discharged the next little bit? And I went, sure. If you get discharged the next little bit, because you were still, brain bleed on for sure.
You can tell that kind of thing is engrafted in me.
Mm-hmm.
That even when I have a terrible motorcycle wreck and lose my whole foot,
to go out there and do it.
crack my head open,
Yeah.
my instincts were I have a gig this Saturday.
Nothing's gonna stop you from going to do that gig.
I've never missed a gig.
Yeah, if you were gonna, and you know what, and you did, and it was. It's good that you missed that gig than trying to go do this with an open, fresh amputation.
If my family wasn't there to stop me,
you would have went and do it.
I would have been bleeding all over that dance floor.
Because that was Saturday, which, by the way, was the same day that you were so determined to get it there. Fresh amputation just a couple of days before. You were out walking around on a walker trying to get yourself around to the bathroom.
Yeah.
With brain bleed that caused you to pass out and split your stitching open again. So
landed right on that
that's
puppy.
where determination was at its fullest. I was so pissed at you when you did that. I was so mad at you.
Well,
I was like,
know because you guys have all been saying,
yeah.
Dad, don't try to go to the bathroom by yourself.
You're saying our voice in a mocking tone. Let's be clear. We were right. You should not have tried to do that.
That's true. You were right.
You can't make us in a mocking tone. Oh, my family was like, Dad, don't do something stupid that could hurt and permanently disable you.
My kids are paranoid,
Oh
what
my
do they
God.
know?
We're so paranoid about you injuring yourself or cracking your head. And yeah.
No, you're right. It was a very foolish thing for me to do. I
remember when
own
that
it.
doctor came back in. She came back in and she was like, you will die if you hit your head again. You could just die.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I was like, that's what I told him. She
Yeah.
was like, she was laying into you, man. She was not happy with you.
Yeah, not happy with me because I when I fell, I didn't have anything here, just a nub.
Yeah.
And so I instinctive when I went to fall, shoved that thing out
put your
there.
left foot like you always had.
Like
a
I was
left
going to
foot.
catch, like I had a foot.
Yeah.
And it was just nothing but stitches,
Ugh,
raw
fresh
stitches.
stitches,
Fresh.
man, really fresh.
And I slammed right on that thing.
Yeah.
And then I cracked my head on the floor.
Already had brain bleed from a motorcycle
Still
accident.
bleeding on my brain.
A motorcycle accident with no helmet on.
Yes.
That already happened, and you were like,
Yeah.
easy.
Easy.
So that was the foolish side of it.
Yeah.
But the side of it that was, and I think is the resounding, feedback you get on this. that was the best thing about it, was that you were so determined to get back out there. It didn't stop you one bit.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you went right back into your next wedding season. The moment you got your prosthetic, the moment you were able to get back out there and start walking again, you were right back at gigs. And like you had a busy season last year.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it, barely. Just having got my prosthesis.
Yeah, barely learning to walk on.
Barely learning to walk on, and
it sucked.
painful, man. Just driving that into the socket, man. It's so painful.
Sucked.
Yep, but
you did it.
Nothing was gonna stop me.
You were doing doubleheader weekends out of town and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
You were at it, which was awesome to see. But now you're saying you might have overdone it a little bit. You wanted to prove that you could.
I had to prove that I could still do it. I still had to do.
Maybe overdid a little bit. Now it's time to dial back. Stop being that active, go-get-'em, doubleheader wedding.
Well, now that I proved that I can be a DJ as an amputee,
sure,
and I can do it well, and I can be loaded up on my schedule and do doubleheaders and all that.
Yeah.
Well, now that I proved that, now it's a matter of making a decision. Do I want to continue?
What's best for you?
Yeah, what's best for me? I know I can do it.
Yeah,
I can't because
but
you
damn,
can
you
say,
were exhausted.
Oh yeah, you can say all day long that
I could do that.
I could do that, but until you do it,
I could do that without my left foot. You're like, wow, he really fucking can. Wow, we saw it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like what was really if it was just pull up and load in right through the door from where the truck is, that's one thing. But when you got to drive an hour and a half away, drive up this gravel country road to this huge venue that's kind of on a hill, and set your reception rig up, and then take your ceremony rig out in the middle of this huge field
in the grass and everything, and you're learning how to you're literally learning how to walk again.
Yeah, I mean, well, in that gig, I was probably only a couple of weeks having had this.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yep.
For sure. I remember you doing that gig. That was rough.
Yeah. So I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. It's amazing, and but now I'm on to a new venture. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. Right. And it doesn't stress me out to sit in a chair and talking to a microphone. Physically it doesn't stress me out.
Yeah, but for some reason you keep coming up with these ideas for your podcast where you're like, and then I take my leg off and jump off a bridge. That's the conversation we had last week.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Because it would look cool.
You're like, yes, it's much easier on me now. And Zach, I had this idea. Hear me out. I throw my leg and then dive in after it.
Yeah.
Insane.
I guess maybe podcasting's not going to be safer yet.
Yes, you keep coming up with these crazy ideas. Well, I think it's for for all things considered, you're handling just like life well, and you're taking on these new projects and stuff. And I mean, the resounding feedback I think you got a lot was like, wow, love your attitude towards this, like your life right now, and just like the amputation didn't slow you down, I mean, a little bit, but it didn't stop you. Where a lot of people, especially not to out you, at your age, would be like, wow, yeah, okay, time to kick back and collect disability and do nothing with my life.
Oh yeah, right.
You're still working full time, 40 hours a week. And
I feel like that this doesn't feel like like I'm doing anything special, but I do hear that from people like, oh wow,
it's your attitude with the rest of your life that has made this possible.
Yeah, how do you keep going like that? And I'm just like, is that special?
Why are other people slowing down on this one?
Like, this is just a foot.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this. Why would I don't understand that part?
Yeah,
but I guess I get it. Even I've heard many people say that they feel like that would devastate them so much they wouldn't be able to get out of bed.
Hey, and that's valid, but that's not you.
No,
not you at all.
Not me at all.
You're out there doing it, kicking ass, making it happen, and then you're taking on this new adventure, which is a lot of fun. And I'm seeing your obsession with it. I love that you have something that you're really dedicated to and pursuing, and it's making this is going to be like, I can only see get better and better over time. So where right now you're trying new things and throwing a billion tacky transitions at the wall.
Right. I love it.
And I'm like, hey, there's a whole lot of those.
Yeah.
Over time, you're gonna start refining your style. You're gonna start refining your camera techniques, your lighting techniques. One day you might understand what 5,000 means.
I might.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna just you're pursuing this project, and like every project, you're seeing this in more ways than one. You're not gonna be good at it right at first.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna work. I think so many people pick up new hobbies and this is probably just the lesson of this episode here is like so many people pick up new things and want to just be good at it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could do that. That sounds fun. And then they just want to be good at it. And then when they're not good at it, they bail, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, I tried that. It was just really hard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really
Sure,
hard.
it's hard.
But that is literally where the rubber meets the road is like, it is hard. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to be determined enough to see that process through?
You have to love that work part.
Yeah.
You have to really appreciate the value and what's getting ready to happen to you because you put in all that effort.
All the work, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like I'm ambitious too. And sometimes it comes across that people don't know me that well. You know, I remember saying, you know, like, oh, my first thing was, I'm going to do that wedding this, you know, I'd only just had my foot amputated 2 days before, and I'm still claiming I'm going to do a wedding
that weekend.
No,
you're not.
Well, of course, right. But that's the ambition in me. But then even so, once it all settled down, and then I remember being in the hospital, like pretty close to getting ready to check out, and I'm like, I wrecked in August, and I said, oh, I'll be walking by September.
Yeah.
And then September
Sorry,
came.
you wrecked the last week of August. So you thought within a month you were going to be back out there.
For sure. I was 100% convinced of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had to heal. You can't even get one of these things until there's no wound.
Yeah.
You know, it's all scarred. Mm-hmm. And that took till like March of the next following year.
February is when you got
February,
that.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And it took that long for the healing to take place. Mm-hmm. But every September came and went, and I was like, that's okay. I'll be walking by November.
Yeah.
I'll be walking by Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll be walking by the first of the year.
Yep.
But I just don't see it any other way.
You don't see life slowing down at all. Like,
no,
nothing's going to stand in your way. You're going to get it done.
Yeah, and I couldn't make it heal any faster, but it finally did heal, and I started walking. And that's where I'm at with this podcast too. You're right. I am going to be making a lot of mistakes, and I think my last recording, I'm like, yeah, that's
So
really
great.
good, so
Yeah.
great, because it's so much better than my first recording, but it still isn't as good.
And what your next one's gonna be.
Future recordings,
Right.
I'm going to look back at these recordings and go, ugh.
Well, and I was telling you for a while, like you were just like, you know, constantly changing things, wanting to try something else, wanting to modify, like the next thing, like the next piece of that, like, oh, well, I want to change this. Well, I want to do. Well, I got to re-record this episode. Well, I got to change the lighting. Well, I don't like the backdrop. Whatever. You had a billion different things that you wanted to do, and I see that and I respect it, but I did have to keep telling you, hey, done is better than perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
Just put it out there, and after a few months now,
Yeah.
it's finally out there. It's live,
Yeah.
right? So we got you, like, your episodes are airing now.
Yeah.
And you're airing episodes every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Hell yeah. So every Wednesday, check out a new episode. This coming Wednesday,
Yes.
episode with me.
Yeah.
I was on your
Mad
podcast.
Dog Memories is the name of this one.
Mad Dog Memories. If you want to see how I made my father almost vomit solely on nostalgia, then I can you can check out that episode. Let's give a little plug here, so you can go check out your podcast. The YouTube channel is Official Just Davit.
Official Just Davit at all the socials.
Yep, and the handle's right there. And then justdavit.com.
And
get you there?
Yep, justdavit.com will get
Yeah.
you to the actual website. The website will give you the link to
All the socials.
all
and
the
everything.
socials.
Yeah.
And the primary place it's being played is YouTube.
Yeah, so justdavit.com is the place to go if you want to go check out all of this stuff. But on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on all the places, you can go check out that podcast where you're putting out episodes right now. So if you guys want to check out my dad's podcast, you can go see that on Just David. Storytelling podcast, talking about all the experiences of your life, some of which we've talked about today. But I know when the last time you were on here, we talked about having you like tell stories about like your experiences with live musicians and artists, whatever. Like,
Sure.
And that is what your podcast is all about.
Oh, yes.
It's telling all those fun stories from the past.
Yes.
Quite a few about your time as a runner doing
Meeting famous people,
stuff
taking them
like that.
places. Yeah,
So-
right.
So yeah, perfect. So if you guys want to check out that podcast, justdavid.com or official Just David on YouTube. we're going to bring this episode of the podcast to a close. We're going to have an exclusive post-game chat after this. So if you'd like to go check out the rest of this conversation that we're going to have after this, you can go to my Patreon. You can Z Messina Patreon, which would be patreon.com/Z Messina, which you can get to from zmessina.com. If you want to check out the rest of that, you can check me out on socials as well. You can check out my dad here on socials at official Just David everywhere. That is the end of this conversation. If you want to see the exclusive post-game chat, that is where you can find it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We will catch you in the next episode of the Messy Media Podcast.